created. Oh man, we're live.
Woohoo! We're live, folks. We're live.
Hey guys, I'm Tim Gillette, and this is
Katrina Garcia.
So we decided to try something new for a show. The two of us have always had some great conversations when we were at events, and over the past year and a half on the phone because we're not at events.
Soon. Coming soon.
So, what are we going to talk about today? All right, we come up with a couple different subjects. What's your first one?
Well, my favorite subject lately is the mass move from California, because as we both know, I know you're in Texas and I'm in California, and a lot of people are doing the mass exit out of California to Texas. So my question to you is, being a Texan, how do you feel about that? The California
we've got a plan. We've got a plan. We're going to get all of you people from California out here. Because then we're going to move to California and we're going to take over. And we get coastline out of the deal.
Good idea.
Yeah. So we've got this down into a plan, all right, that by the time all you get here, the price of real estate is going to be so low out there that we're going to be, we've been swiping up bargains for years in Texas.
Yes.
We're going to swipe a ton in California.
That'll be huge. Not happening yet, but it probably will down the line, because so many people are doing the mass exodus and get the hell out.
No. You smart ones who are leaving, you should hold on to your house and rent it. All right. So that when we get there, you go, okay, now we're cashing in on you suckers and we're going to make you pay us.
That's a good point. But I still haven't seen anybody from Texas coming to California.
10, 11 years ago, I knew tons of people leaving Texas and going to California. It's because their work took them there. So like they were in the IT field or something, and they went to work for like Google, so they moved out there for a job. Now, with our current economy, you can live in Bismarck, North Dakota, and work for the IT companies.
Yep. Although I did read something interesting, that even though there were a lot of businesses, especially out in this area, that said that a lot of people can work from home virtually, now they're trying to say they want them to come back into the office. And in order to do that, they need to be vaccinated. So a lot of people are saying, sayonara, I'm out of here. Or some people are saying, okay, I'll go back into the office. So, that's another thing too, and why so many people are moving. Like we talked about, you don't really need to be attached to your business with your home. You can leave and do, we've already proven it works.
Yeah. I don't know. I've worked out of my house for going on 12 years now. So it's like, after 12 years, I'm kind of used to it. I finally got an office, my own office in the house 2.5 years ago. I worked out of the dining room table for you.
Hey! Tim has an office. Woo!
Yeah, and that's like, wait a minute. And like, if you go look at my old videos from last year, there's like a blank wall behind me. You notice how like it developed over the past year because I had to. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to come up with a background, And my friend Jenny Q has a show on. I knew her from Blab days, and she always had this just beautiful, simple decoration behind her. And I was like, I like that. I don't want that green screen crap, because every time you move your hands like this, it throws the whole thing off.
Or your hair disappears, shows up, disappears.
I don't have that problem anymore.
Good point. I do though.
Don't cut it off. All right. You look cute with long hair. Don't cut it off. No.
Oh, thank you.
No.
I don't want to go bald just so that I can do virtual meetings. That's not going to work.
But this is the other thing about virtual meetings. All right. Do you wear pants?
Of course I do.
I figured you were going to come back with, well, no, I wear a skirt sometimes. But anyway.
Well, like our good friend Tony Caruso, who hates skirts and hates dresses and always wears pants. I wear pants most of the time. However, there are times. But I've not got my pajamas on. I have not worked in my pajamas. Not yet.
I did my first online speech in my pajamas.
Oh.
just so I could say I did.
Okay. I can't. I just, there's something ingrained in me. I just can't do it. Especially if you're going to be on live. I can't do it.
So, but it's like the rebel in me that wants to do this way. Truthfully, I mean, really, the rebel in me is all about how do I skirt the line on something, right?
Yeah.
I remember working in 2000 and gosh, it was 2000. Well, right after 9/11, 2002. I worked for a company, and the owner of the company had a plane, which basically he flew from Florida to Texas all the time. And I asked him about after 9/11 when they had a ban that they couldn't go up, and he said, "Well, consider where his plane was parked at the airport here now by my house now." He says, I couldn't, but he said they after that they moved to a community where basically right out their backyard was a runway.
Nice.
Part of the community, you have a house and there's a runway right around a bunch of houses, so you can keep your plane at your house. It's like John Travolta has that. Well, he said if I lived there, I'd have taken my plane up just to say I did it.
Yeah. I know there's a rebel in me, and sometimes I do go against the grain, but there are some things it's just, I don't know. It's stuck in my head. I hear my mom saying, don't work in your pajamas.
My mom says all kinds of things, and she says them to me every day still because she lives like a stone's throw away from me. So
I can't say the same. My mom is in the ethers now. So
okay.
But
so she is only available to haunt you from now on.
Yeah, exactly. She has access a lot more than before. She can go anywhere now.
Yeah.
It's a phone call. Now she can go anywhere. So
yeah, now you read a billboard and you're like, God, oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I hear her voice in my head all the time. All the time. And no, I don't need to go to a medical facility. It just
I hear voices.
I
see dead people.
We won't even go into that topic because that's a whole different story altogether.
Why? Katrina, do you have ghosts from relationships past?
Wow. Okay. I'm going to come forward right now and let you know that I am a ghost magnet. I'm just saying. I am. Wherever we go, we have bumps and doors closing for no reason and things dropping for no reason. I call them the gremlins, but my husband's finally used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
What kind of relationship did I get in with for this new show?
Little did you know.
No.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Back to our topic. So what are you going to do? I mean, how many Californians are really coming into Texas now? Or do you even have any stats on that?
They said in the past 2 years, we've gained the entire state. I want to say it was almost in the neighborhood like 500,000 people.
Yep. That's a lot.
And I just seen it too because they showed it which states or which cities they were going to. Dallas, the Metroplex in Dallas, where I've lived for 21 years, 23 years actually.
Wow.
Dallas is now surpassing Houston as the most people in a city.
Most populated,
yeah. And like, but that's Dallas, Fort Worth. Like, we've got like the center cities that go, it's a bunch of little cities that are around it that combine, kind of like, your LA has a bunch of little cities around it. And ours go between Dallas and Fort Worth. So Dallas and Fort Worth were the two big cities forever. And all these little cities, Bedford and Plano and, Louisville and all that stuff kind of popped in. And now Frisco is apparently a city all of a sudden. Frisco. When I moved here, Frisco was a country spot on the map you went to visit. Yeah.
Not anymore. I've gone
now
to Frisco.
They have like they're opening like their 11th high school. Yeah.
Wow. I know Frisco's nice. I've been to Frisco and my dad lived in Texas. He lived all over. He lived in Amarillo. He lived in Houston. He lived in Dallas. He lived in, I think he lived in Fort Worth as well. So I've been all over Dallas and Texas and I don't know.
So this means you're coming to Texas, right?
Oh, no. No.
What? Was it something we said? Or, did we not bathe today? What don't you like about us?
I don't like the weather. The weather is not my favorite. It's freaking hot during the summertime, and in the wintertime, you deal with hailstorms. My dad used to show me hailstorms that were the size of golf balls, if not bigger. Showed me a brand new truck he just bought was demolished because of the hail.
You know how to solve that problem? You get a house with a garage. I'm just saying.
And just don't go out so you don't get hit.
Yeah, when it's hailing, by the way, when it is hailing, we stay inside.
Yes, exactly.
All right. You don't wait a minute. You don't see us worried about California because of fires. We understand there's a fire. Don't hang around. You don't stay in the area. You move.
That's true. That's true. Well, we are moving, but we're not moving to Texas.
Where are you moving to?
We're moving to New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Land of enchantment. Yes. Very excited. And it's funny because every time I say New Mexico, people say, wait a minute, you're moving to Mexico? No, New Mexico. They want to talk me out of it.
You're gonna take the Billy the Kid path down to Old Mexico?
Yes. I will be next to the Mesilla area because we're going to be going to Las Cruces, the beautiful Las Cruces.
That is the edge of the area that's the area, like just north of that is where Billy the Kid grew up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also got assassinated coming out of the courthouse in Mesilla. Yeah.
So
we walked those roads. It's a very nice city, and we did a lot of investigating over the years. A lot of investigating.
At least you're not going to Albuquerque. You know how many friends we have in Albuquerque?
I know. I mean, we spent a little time in Albuquerque, but still. It was okay, and I know it's a big city, but the funny thing is anytime I told people we're going to New Mexico, the first thing they said is, oh my God, it's crime-ridden. But what they don't understand is that they take the population based on the crime rate, and the population is one of the lowest in New Mexico out of most of the states. But most of it's in Albuquerque. So
I mean, they had to figure some place to get a true story about Breaking Bad.
So true. I still haven't seen that show. I've got to watch it. Everybody keeps telling me, you got to watch this show. I haven't seen it yet. But then there's a lot of people moving to Idaho. Or is Boise, Idaho?
Who would move to Boise, Idaho?
I know, but there's several people moving to Boise, Idaho. There have been people, I've talked to realtors, they're moving to Utah. They're moving to Oregon.
Okay, I would avoid Oregon. All right, here's why. Let me tell you what I don't like about Oregon. And I actually brought it up as a subject when I was visiting there, and boy, they really tore into me. They make you sit in your car and they pump your gas.
Yep. Yeah. It's different out there, that's for sure.
No, I mean, I rode motorcycle through, and I'm riding like this $50,000 motorcycle. I pull up to the gas station. This guy's I'm going to put gas in your bike. I'm like, oh, hell no, you ain't.
I'll take care of it. Thank you.
Yeah, you are not. Well, I'm a trained professional. I'm like, dude, I could train my cat to be a professional gas pumper.
I remember there was a day, and I'm going to be aging myself here, when they used to do that. They'd run out, do your window, check your oil, put your gas in, and off you went.
Well, in the old days, I mean, I didn't mind it, but now it's I don't want to put my credit card in the hands of somebody else. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I want to know that basically in my case, it was a bike. So it's not like, you just flip this thing on the side and stick a hose in. No, you've got to hold it up over and put it down.
Yeah.
And if you come out wrong, all right, and spill gas everywhere, all right, that heat from that gas on a road trip can catch fire. You've got to know how to clean. I mean, if it drips, you got to clean the tank immediately.
Yeah, it's a lot different than a car, that's for sure.
Yes. And that was what my biggest complaint was about it. And this lady basically said, well, I love that. All right. That's the great part about my state. I'm like, yeah, you don't ride a motorcycle.
Do you still have said motorcycle?
No, motorcycle gone for now. I don't know why. It was just that time.
Yeah.
There wasn't room for it in the garage to protect it from hailstorms.
Because you had too many other things in the garage.
I have important things in there, like my toolbox. My car.
Okay, so I know there's hailstorms out there. There's also tornadoes?
No, that you know what I mean? They happen, but mostly they happen north of us.
Well,
didn't you watch Twister? All right, it's Wakita, Oklahoma that you got to avoid.
Okay. Because I know my dad when he worked. I think it was in downtown. It was in Houston. I think it was where there were a couple of tornadoes that went through there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But that's north of you, right?
Houston is south of us.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not good with my geographical. In fact, I flunked it in school. I didn't do well. Remember when they showed you had to go through and you had to write out all the states. They give you that blank map. You had to write all the states in. I knew Florida. I knew California. I knew a lot of them. And then when I got to the middle of the state, I'd get confused. Or on the very end, where on the East Coast, would be like, okay, is this Maine or is this New York or is this? I can't remember.
There's only like 4 or 5 states you need to really remember that are important.
Yeah, the ones you're in.
Yeah. Texas, California, Alaska, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Canada is not an American state.
I know, but there's a lot of people that go to Canada.
Yeah, I know. That's and there's a lot of people said they're going to Canada based on who gets elected, but they never go.
Yeah. Although they close their borders, if a lot of people keep going over there.
See, wait a minute. No, Canada's smart. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming there if so-and-so gets elected. Border closed. I'm sorry. We don't want you.
Sorry.
Go away.
Not going to happen.
They don't have to close the border at Mexico. Nobody wants to go south.
I know. You guys, I mean, and the thing is, as I'm sure you're aware, that when you go into New Mexico, the closest, especially Las Cruces, the closest airport is El Paso, Texas.
That's right.
Which is about, I think it's 45 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first time I've ever been to El Paso is when we went and flew in there. And I mean, it's, I'm not a big fan of it.
Well, when was the first time you went into El Paso?
Well, this last week when we went out.
That's why. All right. I'm going to tell you the past 2 years. First of all, I've avoided El Paso since 2018. All right. Because, and I used to ride through there to go west when I rode the bikes out west. And I now avoided it the last time I did it because they were redoing I-10 and the highway coming in down along the border. And they're redoing their highway system. So like it's a nightmare to go through there on almost anything because you really have like 2 guided paths to get through town and they're both under construction. There's no way to avoid it because if you try to go out and around the city, all right, you've got to drive all the way up into New Mexico, almost to Ruidoso, I think it is. And, to then come back over the mountains through the sand, the white sands. And it's just a pain, but you get like 5-6 years ago, it was cool to fly into El Paso and drive up, and I'm sure once the roads are done, it'll be different too. It'll be a lot easier, but like I used to always, that was my trips for the motorcycle. If I was going to California on the motorcycle, I would ride my first day all the way to the west side of El Paso, which is I was 7 miles or 10 miles away from the New Mexico border on I-10. Yeah. And I stayed at a friend's house there. And then like literally when you're coming up to that point though, you're literally at a point where you riding up the highway that you look over and you can almost throw a stone and hit Mexico. Like there, you can see the fence, the wall. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it's the one thing that runs along the wall is I-10. And it's just weird.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
But I mean, I would ride to there on the bike for the first day, and then I would ride the second day from El Paso to Phoenix, Arizona. And that was a short day. Right? Yeah, that was a short day. And the reason I rode all the way to El Paso, because you think El Paso's bad in Texas. Anywhere between Midland, Texas and El Paso, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like there's one little town you can stay in on that path, and it's called Van Horn. And literally Van Horn, I remember the first time I ever stopped in Van Horn on my motorcycle. I was coming through and it was just getting dark. And I pulled into a gas station to fuel up, and I noticed I don't know how many what are they called, Border Patrol, sitting on like 4-wheelers. And I'm like, like, what are they doing here? And the guy at the gas station said, yeah, he says, this is where all the illegals come up through here. And it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm not staying here.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm not parking at a hotel and letting some illegals come by my bike in the middle of the night. No.
I gotta go. Yeah. Well, I have to say that when we first came in, it was during rush hour, and it was bad. It was stop and go, which I didn't realize there was that much traffic in El Paso. And then on the way coming home, it was like on Sunday, so there wasn't that bad. It was much easier coming home than it was going out. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. There is a lot of construction on that freeway, on the 10. Although I have to say going into Albuquerque was nice too, because then we did that 3-hour ride on the 40, I think it is, or the 25.
I think it's like the 25 going up.
The 25, the 25. And that, there's nothing. Once you get past Albuquerque, there's nothing out there. It's just land and mountains. And I mean, it was a nice ride, but it's like a 3-hour drive. So I haven't decided whether we like to go into Albuquerque and do the 3-hour drive, or go into El Paso and just do a 45-minute drive, and then we're done.
Okay. Along that same lines, I mean, I grew up in the Poconos of Pennsylvania. When I go home, all right, my airport options are Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia, or LaGuardia, New York.
Oh, yeah, so, that's not very good choices.
So we've flown into, most of the time we fly into Baltimore, BWI, because we can get a direct flight from Dallas to BWI.
Yeah.
And literally from BWI, it's where my mom lived was a 5-hour drive. But literally, I mean, I could, if you get in there at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, get your rent a car, you can do it in under 4. Nobody's on the road at midnight.
No.
There's no place to stop and get any food or use the bathroom, but nobody's on that damn road at night.
Oh my God. Although I will say that when we went into El Paso, we took a taxi to get us to the rental place, because luckily we didn't rent at the airport, because they charge twice as much at the airport than they do the other ones. So we did this one off the cuff there. It was only like 3 miles away. Cost us $15 for a 3-mile taxi ride. And then we took an Uber back that cost us $6.
Yeah, I was like, you didn't understand what Uber is? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we didn't know what we were getting into. I didn't know, and because I've never been into El Paso, so I wasn't sure. So we just took the taxi because it was right there. And then, but now we know. We're learning as we go back and forth, because eventually we'll be there, probably by the end of the year, hopefully.
So the last time I came to your town, I flew into LAX.
Yeah.
And took an Uber up to your town.
Yeah, that's much easier.
Yeah, that Uber ride was like one of my most expensive Uber rides. It was like, I don't know, like $60 or $80, but yeah, I can't remember what it was. But like from LAX to your place is an hour.
But if you go into Burbank, it's not that bad, and it's only about 35, 45 minutes away, and depending on traffic.
I think one of the reasons I did this route that time, I think the flight that I did that night that I came in at night, first of all, so I didn't land until like 10:30 your time. And I think doesn't Burbank close down early? They
closed down at 1.
Oh, really? I thought it was, because like our flight landed 10:40 or something like that. Oh, but the earlier flights, I remember the earlier flights getting into Burbank, I would have had to leave earlier in the day, and I couldn't. I was waiting until my day was done to fly out there. And then I got an Uber. And normally when I was going to things up in you guys' area, I would always rent a car. But this one here was I was driving Craig's car here to Texas, because he was moving from California to Texas.
Did you enjoy driving his car? It was Mercedes, right?
Oh, wait. I enjoyed driving. Well, I want to say I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was a nice ride, but like I used to be into cars, and I had this big truck, and after driving Craig's, I'm like, it's a comfortable ride. I went to the Mercedes dealer and bought one.
Yeah, Mercedes is nice. We have a GLK ourselves. It's a nice drive. Very nice drive.
Yeah. So like I've had it for 3 months. I don't even have 2,000 miles on it yet.
Well, my husband always says, once you go to a Mercedes, you never go back. Or you never go anywhere else. You just stay with a Mercedes.
Well, if they make me another lease deal on my next lease like they did on this one, I'll stay, because I'm telling you, the cost of this Mercedes versus the cost of my Dodge truck. Now, I'm a Texas guy and I'm into my trucks and all, but like paying 2 times what you can get a Mercedes for, that's just, I'm done with that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm turning into my dad. I'm cheap now.
I noticed too in Texas, you guys really like your trucks.
Now, I didn't have like the customized, like, I mean, it was a custom, version of the pickup that I bought, but I didn't customize it out. Most guys buy the truck and then they spend another $5,000 on wheels and tires and then they jack it up some. And, I've got mine and I put running boards on it.
Okay. So with all the trucks out there, what would you say is the most popular brand in Texas? Ford. Yeah. Well, and here's a funny thing in Las Cruces, when we went out there, the biggest one was Dodge.
Yeah.
There were Dodge trucks everywhere.
And originally, I mean, I had a Dodge because when I bought my Dodge in 2015, it was 2016. It was a 2015 truck. In 2016, when I bought it, I think we paid $55,000 for it, and it was the same equivalent with the same kind of package from Ford was $72,000 at the time.
Ow.
Yeah. Now I went to try to get the same truck 5 years later to renew and get a new truck, and the same Dodge truck. Now the only difference is my Dodge truck didn't have 4-wheel drive. I only had a 2-wheel drive, and I didn't care for it. But it's a rarity to find something like that on a lot. So I went in to try to buy the new one. Well, the new one's $80,000. I'm like, in 5 years, it went from $55,000 to $80,000, and I'm like,
that's nothing.
well, no, but the same thing in a Ford, though.
Yeah.
Remember, the Ford was in 2015 was $74,000. The Ford's almost $100,000 for the same truck.
Unbelievable.
If I was going to buy a $100,000 vehicle, I'd buy, I'd buy me a nice big old fancy Cadillac Escalade, to tell you the truth.
An Escalade.
I love the Escalade. That was the one large vehicle I loved, was the Escalade. I drove one in Pennsylvania and I loved it.
Really?
Yeah. But I've not owned a GM vehicle since 2014.
I owned a Buick, which is a GMC. It was a good car. It was a very good car. I've only had 4 cars in my lifetime.
4?
So, 4.
I've had that in the past 10 years.
4 I've had in my lifetime. Because I hang on to my cars. I don't want to be going around and buying another car and then paying for another car payment. I like to pay them off and then use them and see how long.
Okay.
How long do they last?
I have been an entrepreneur my whole life. So that making payments thing is very rare that I've had for things. Yeah. I've always done the one payment plan.
Oh.
You know what the one payment plan is, right?
No. What's that?
That's basically where you walk into the dealer, you take your checkbook out, and you write a check for the full amount of the vehicle and give it to them, and they give you the vehicle in exchange.
Got it. Well, I'd like to do that eventually.
Well, it helps that I had some good years and I had that much money in my bank account to pay for
that. But as we know with entrepreneurs, your bank account goes up and down and up and down, depending on the work and depending on the income and depending on the economy and everything else along with it.
But now, I work with Joe and get my books right on business is now I'm leasing my vehicles. And if you'd have told me 10 years ago, lease your vehicles, I'd have laughed at you. Now I'm like, wait a minute. I get a fancier vehicle for less money and it's a tax write-off because I'm leasing it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that.
That's true. That is true. I haven't leased a car yet. Maybe this next time I will.
Well, because I use them for business, and again, it's you got to study with your accountant. All right, don't take my advice as to whether you should do this or not. Study with it. Ask an accountant. But my businesses, because I have 2 of them, was very, very much put on me by my accountant to say, dude, you need to lease your stuff. You need to not buy it and take the loss because you can't take the lease. Yeah, you can't deduct the loss the way you want to. The lease is just a payment type deal. Yeah.
Well, and with the car, as we know, as soon as it goes out the lot, it's already depreciated.
Yeah.
By what? I don't know, a couple $1,000s or so.
Yeah. Now, the downside to a lease, which my wife owns her car, she has a Volvo, the XC60 or something, the SUV, the 60 SUV.
Yeah.
And she drove Uber with it for a while. All right. When we had some bad months, a couple of years ago, she drove Uber with it. On the Mercedes, when I signed it with a lease, you had to sign paperwork that says you will not use it to drive. You can't use it to deliver pizza. You can't use it to deliver
really?
Food. You can't use it to run any
Uber
service.
or Lyft.
Yeah,
Wow.
or Lyft or Uber or anything like that. They make you. That's part of the contract. They make you sign with the lease.
Wow. Interesting. Did not know that. Probably so it doesn't depreciate, because I know that Mercedes, they have a tendency to hold their value longer than most cars do.
Yeah.
So at least that's, I mean, my husband, Andrew, who's in that industry, he's a parts advisor for anybody who needs parts. He's a parts advisor at Mercedes-Benz in Oxnard. I'm just shout out.
This will be the one time on our show that we give a shout out to somebody in Oxnard.
I know.
This will not be a regular occurrence, so please take note of this history in time.
Write this down now, because it will not happen again.
And next week, we will be recommending the guy from Des Moines, Iowa.
You never know. Got to give everybody a chance. Shout out.
Let's look at some interesting stuff I see in the news. Interesting things in the news. Speaking of travel, did you know that the main bridge on I-40 that goes into Memphis, that connects Memphis, Tennessee with Arkansas, is shut down and has been for a few weeks?
Why?
They found a crack into it.
Oops.
Like, you know how big beams are on a bridge?
Yeah.
And like they showed pictures of the crack, and the crack is noticeable gap, like shifted gap.
Wow.
And I'm like, this beam, all right, is as tall as my house, and it's got a crack into it.
That's not good.
No.
Not good.
No.
I'm sure that's causing a lot of problems.
Well, I mean, I've driven over that bridge a ton of times, in my life. I mean, I drove over that bridge in the early 1990s. That bridge has been around, I think, since the 50s or 60s. All right. And it was congested to get through town of Memphis or to come in through Arkansas before that bridge was shut down. I can only imagine what they're doing now, because they have to route traffic, I think, south of downtown Memphis and over another interstate. I think it's the Interstate 55 bridge, which has been there like 30 years longer than the one that cracked.
But that one's not cracked.
No.
But this other one that's actually newer is cracked.
No.
Can you say Sue? We have any lawyers?
They don't build bridges like they used to.
No, they don't.
I mean, if you think about it, all right, I still am in awe over the fact that the San Francisco, not the Bay Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, you realize is almost 100 years old.
Yeah. And it's well put together.
Like,
yep.
That's like, unheard of. I mean, the bridges I knew where I grew up in, well, first, I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, and we had a bridge down the road from us that the Liberty Bell traveled over. Like, this thing was so solidly built, but they eventually had to tear it down because the road was to get traffic over it. You could only let one car over it at a time, either way. And it was just a weird thing. So they eventually had to tear it out. And I'm like, that was a piece of American history. And that bridge was like in solid shape, and we look at this bridge now that like the heart center of America, Memphis on I-40. The only other place that'll be center is the I-70 bridge going over St. Louis, going into St. Louis over the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven over the Mississippi?
I have not. But my son lives not too far from St. Louis, so I'll have to take a trip over there and go to St. Louis and drive over the Mississippi and say that I have, and then come back and say, actually, I have. I have driven over the Mississippi. I'm a sheltered girl. Haven't gone very much.
We gotta get you out, girl. You think that to move up in the world is to move from California to New Mexico. We've got to get you out.
I have been to Texas in several spots. I have. Yeah, no,
I think you still have a ticket to come to my event in Texas one of these days.
Oh yes, I do, and I'm gonna have to make it back out there. Where is it gonna be? In Frisco?
Mine's actually still. I still am trying to see if I have the contract on Irving. Mine was in Irving. Craig's is in Frisco, which is a new
Frisco.
location that wasn't there a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, and it's a really nice location. So
Yeah. I have to say Frisco's a nice area. And last time I've gone out there, the last couple times for the E-Women Conference, and each time I've gone out, there have been more homes, more shopping centers. It's amazing how quickly that place is growing.
Okay, I look at as I go up the tollway, which is the main toll area that goes from downtown Dallas to north of Frisco, right? I remember driving up that thing through Frisco now when it was a big wide piece of grass and 2 side lane roads beside it. Like someday we're going to build a road there. Looking at real estate, I could have bought a piece of real estate up there off of the tollway for I don't know, $600,000-$700,000. When I first moved here. That current piece of real estate is selling for well over $25 million.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
Right. And I knew a guy in Pennsylvania where the town I lived in, there was a highway that out from our town, and he owned real estate around that highway. 3 or 4 huge fields around the exit ramp for our town, right? And literally he had this tiny little garage in town, but when years earlier, all right, he went out and bought this farmland up with his profits and just held on to it. When he sold it, in 1999 or 98 or 99, this guy doesn't have to work on a car for the rest of his life.
Yep.
All right. But what he paid for it was what most of us paid for a house. He was up there in age. So in the 70s, most people went and bought a house. He bought all this land because he knew the highway was coming through. And just held it. And held it. And held it. Paid the taxes on it every year. All right. And then sold it. All right. Anyway.
I think that's the next thing to make money. Go buy a piece of property that's somewhere that is going to start to be booming. I mean, if you think about it, there's still a lot of open land in the state of California and a lot of states out there. There's still a lot of open land that I'm sure you could buy up and make a good killing. And then one day there's going to be homes out there. One day it's going to be building up. One day, and you'll be a multimillionaire. One day. Right?
I'm just working on doing things now. I read something the other day though, Katrina, and this is this is a really interesting thing I read. It was an infographic that said, people became millionaires by copywriting. People became millionaires by real estate. People became millionaires from websites. People became millionaires because they became millionaires because they traded stock. Became millionaires because they bought Bitcoin. And basically the point of the graphic was follow your own plan. Don't just go to something because someone made $1 million in it.
Well, and the thing I think a lot of people get confused is that maybe one person made $1 million off of it doesn't mean everybody's going to make $1 million off of it. And I think that's the biggest thing, especially with business. I mean, somebody will start a business and it just happens to take off, kind of like Facebook. And then before you know it, now everybody's trying to get in the game, but they're not making the same thing. It's not the same game as it was, because it just, some people, I think you have to be there at the right time, right place, get it out there to the right audience, and it takes off. I mean, just why is it that one video does so well on YouTube and makes millions of dollars, where another video that's very similar is not making anything and nobody's even hardly seen it?
Well, then again, all right, I'm in the content business and so are you. All right. I know people who've had videos that a lot of people watch the video, but the person who made the video made just as much as you and I could have made making minimum wage at McDonald's.
Yep. Well, and I've also found that people love videos about animals, and they seem to like bad news or things that are, what do I want to say? Not graphic, but I don't know, just bad news. You sit there and talk, oh, look, this happened to so-and-so. Check this out. Or they like animals. Those are the videos that seem to do the best. And kids.
This must be the American way. All right, let me show you how bad someone else is to make you look at my life and think I'm good.
Well, I think that's part of it. It's like, well, at least I feel better. Somebody else's life is a hell of a lot worse than mine.
Did someone say cat videos? That would be our comment of the day from Robert Brooker.
Yes, and those are off the chart, as we know. Cat videos everywhere. Yeah. And dog videos, but animals alone. I mean, I don't know if you go through things, but I go through my news each day. I go through is Flipboard online, and it goes, and there's always stuff on there about the best pictures of animals, the best animal pictures, the cat videos, how cats do this, how dogs do this. It's amazing how much information is out there. I think my favorite are the ones where the dogs have the reunion, where somebody's been in the army or they've been overseas and they come back home and the dog hasn't seen them for like 3 or 4 months. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh my God, those are my favorite. My faves. I'm just saying.
I've never really looked to see which ones I like. I do this thing, pretty much before I do my interview show that I do. I'm going to do one here after we're done today. Is I watch videos, but I have like this thing of concert videos, that music that pumps me up.
Ooh.
And I play just 2 or 3 of them. All right. And I have, and one of the videos I always play is the band Styx playing the song Renegade. So. Oh,
you like Styx, don't you?
I love Styx. As thus, you could probably find it on a picture of me with the band Styx. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually saw Styx in person. They're a pretty good band. Not bad. We saw them at the Canyon Club.
Oh, really? Yep.
Saw them at the Canyon Club. Long time ago. It's been a while back. Before COVID. Pre-COVID and after COVID.
Speaking of bands, all right, I just noticed the band, all right, that's coming to here is, tours being announced, all right. Our friend Craig who worked with Guns N' Roses. Well, Guns N' Roses tour is stopping in Dallas. Do you know who the opening act is?
Opening act for Guns N' Roses. Can't say.
I'll give you a hint. Through COVID, this guy in COVID, all right, has got like number one music videos, number 1 sales and everything and his dad passed away in the past year.
God, I can't think of it. I know it's at the top of my tongue, but I can't think of it. Tell me. The audience is dying to know.
Wolfgang Van Halen.
Oh my God, that's right.
I'm like, now that is something I got chills like in my, I'm like, that's, oh my God, that's gotta be like, here's this kid who, like, basically the only thing we knew about him was he was played bass for Van Halen. All right. No idea till you go read into the stories and everything about the last 10 years of Eddie Van Halen's life. Wolfgang was the kid who motivated him. Yeah. And he puts out this right after his dad dies, he puts out this thing with his, got video clips with his dad. And probably the most heart-wrenching thing is a voicemail that his dad left. I love you, son. I love you. And I mean, that is just like, oh, chills. And this kid like is totally into like everything he tried to do with his dad before his dad passed away. He was trying to put Van Halen together, like everybody who's ever been in Van Halen. And he was going to call it the Kitchen Sink Tour. And he was talking to everybody to try to make this work. I personally still think he should do it.
Yeah.
And he plays lead guitar in place of his father. But he does not want to. He's trying to make his own music. He doesn't want to sound like his dad.
Yeah,
I agree. His music does not sound like his dad.
I agree. You want to make your own. You want to make your own impression. You don't want to follow along in someone else's tracks. You want to make your own track, your own path. Speaking
of which, there's only 2 things I want in life. All right, and I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna announce it I'll always announce it on radio. Is I want to own Eddie Van Halen's guitar, and I want to hang it right there.
Nice.
Not gonna play it. I'm just gonna hang it right there. I would love to own it. The other thing I want to own, and I have a spot right here for it, is I want to own Wyatt Earp's gun.
Wyatt Earp's gun?
Yep.
Where would you acquire that?
Currently, one of his guns is, the town in Alaska that he visited, where he checked his firearm in and he never picked it up. and they have it marked in a case. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get that one unless I'm really rich. So in that case, I'll be researching things I can do for $1 million now.
So you'll be really rich and you can buy that gun.
Yeah. But
Good
Wolfgang
idea.
Van Halen, I would love to own your dad's guitar. I'm just saying. Because we know Wolfgang listens to the show.
Because we have a huge audience, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as we come
in
up
our
with
first episode. We know that Wolfgang Van Halen is tuned in to listen.
It's going to get bigger and bigger. Trust me. We're going to have a lot more to talk about. Lot.
So let's put this out to the audience, all right? And we'll put this. I think we're going to put this out in different places to build this audience up. What do you, as an audience, think we should call our show?
Yep. And what do you want us to talk about?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that's another thing is we're going to create a page, all right? You know, between Katrina and I, we're going to create a page so you guys can actually put in, and we're going to bring discussion topics up, and we want you guys to actually put discussion topics in, and we want to put you as part of the conversation.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Before we close it out for the day, I mean, Katrina, first of all, tell them what you do and how you help people.
Oh, well, I'm just I do websites and membership sites. We build them and we also maintain them for folks. So we help you build your list, grow your business, and make more money via your website. Simple as that.
Cool.
How about you? What is it that you do, Mr. Tim Gillette? I know you do. You're a man of many talents. Many talents.
I just make a living being me. No. It's funny because I have a client now who actually has it. Her opt-in is 7 ways to make money just being yourself, and I love it. And she does. She's a great program and stuff. But I actually help people get their content out there. All right, put a content plan in action from all the way down from starting a blog to a podcast, all the way down to making the sale. All right, yeah. And we actually help people put the whole path together, build the whole funnel. Build it all out. And I know both Katrina and I are pretty much, well, I'm more of an expert at Kartra than she is now.
Okay.
She's gonna probably dispute me on that, but we'll see.
Game on, sir. Game on. We shall see. But
well, I actually put one of my clients in Kartra. I actually put them in the agency side. I'm learning how to use that. So like that's a good
option. It really is, because it helps you manage theirs without having to get a whole separate account and so on and so forth. It's a good option.
So, and I realized how many people you can have in here. You can put tons of people in there.
Yeah.
And like for me, since I learned it and learned how to do things to simplify it, like I got one of my clients in yesterday and I set that up to the agency work. I went through their whole stuff and I'm able to actually, my old fashioned way, I've got 4 notepads of how to revamp their system. Yeah. I know you're laughing. I'm in technology, but this is like the planning system.
Yeah, Tony would agree with you, but I'm the type, I type all my notes out and then I highlight them and then I go back in and I review them and so forth, because I can't keep tabs of paper. I go from paper to computer, but it's based in rankings. Like this is projects I'm working on. When I'm done with this project, this gets shredded. So that's why I do it this way, is rather than typing it out, is I can do it without a computer in front of me. Now, if it goes to like, I want to implement this into a regular structure. I have a notebook system where I basically, these cheap freaking notebooks, right? Yep.
And I outline them in here. Like I go through here. This one here is almost 2 years old. This was my original list of projects. Wait a minute, I'm going to show you this, Katrina, you'll love it. My online funnel, my offline funnel.
Wow, nice.
But literally, when I got to that point, I wrote it down.
Nice.
Right? But then I have it in this notebook. This was a workshop. The entire outline for a workshop. So like I would put it here. But then, all right, when it actually going, okay, this is permanent part of my company, I would now take it and put it in a Word document, and I have a whole operations manual I'm building for my company.
Yep, SOPs, standard operating procedures.
So, I mean, but like it's a system to get there. All right. And then I have projects. Like here's a project that I'm working on for me. It's the 52-week marketing plan. As you see, this one has its own yellow notepad into it, right?
Oh, it's special.
This is intense, and this is something, so this is the last version of it was printed out. The new version is what we're refining and remaking. And when it gets done, this folder will be done and thrown away, and it'll actually be put into a Word document, but then it'll be put into videos, into a program, into emails, and everything.
Yep.
So,
yep. That's one thing, folks, that you should learn along the way is you can take a couple pieces of content and literally make it into thousands and thousands of things because of blog, social media, video, content, all kinds of things. Mm-hmm. One thing we'll be talking about that too, I'm sure, as we go down the line. And then we're going to have a Kartra contest between Tim.
We should define this out. This would be a fun thing. We're going
to have a Kartra contest to see who can build the nicest and most reliable and the best.
So what are the tests going to be to actually?
Gosh, I'm gonna have to think of a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna
we can make a competition, but it's gonna have. You know what? We're gonna actually have the guests set the parameters, what it's got to do.
Okay.
All right, and then but if we make it, all right, and then we actually have to have we play it off the guests to see who can go to do it. I've got a whole thing. I can tell you what I'm thinking in the back of my mind, but I won't on air. I'll tell you that in private.
Okay. Behind closed doors. Stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more information on this Kartra competition between Tim Gillette and Katrina Garcia. Yeah. Just saying.
One of the things I didn't do, Katrina, was put in your website so that I can put it up on the banners. Like I can put mine up on the banners, but I don't have yours.
Oh, well, that's easy. It's kgwebsitedesigns.com. Easy peasy. Real easy. KG website designs designs with an S designs.
All right.
KG website designs.com. I'm still trying to buy this one domain that is gone. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna actually make a folder for all the stuff we do on here, so we can put it because
cool. I'm just saying. We got more coming.
Yep. So next Friday we will come back. We'll have another show for you. All right. We're going to make this, until we have a design. We don't know really. This is what I encourage you guys to do this. We don't know what we're going to do. We just decided we wanted to do something together. We're figuring it out.
Yep. It'll get better. Trust me. It'll get better.
But the truth is, all right, it's both of us help people do exactly that. All right. Until you know what you're doing, just start trying something.
Exactly. You just got to act. That's the one thing it was really hard for me. I kept trying to make it too perfect. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Just got to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. What's this one? Each show was closed with the term of the week chosen by the audience from the Urban Dictionary. Read by Mint in a very... Oh, it's something else he's talking. Robert actually puts a conversation for me that I have to go through and read because I can't read it and talk at the same time. But I read them all afterwards because he actually... Robert's a great conversationist. So he comes in and what we're saying, he motivates, he puts in words. The cool thing is he goes home and acts on it. He's so cool. Yeah, he's a great guy. Been a great follower of our shows. So, but anyway.
Very cool. Well, this was fun.
It was. We're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this again next week.
Yes. Yeah. Good idea. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Yeah. Cool. One more time, Katrina, tell them how they can get a hold of you and what you would be willing to do for them this week.
Like I said, we build websites and membership sites. We also help maintain them because there's a lot of people out there that have websites and they're not maintaining them, and then they go down and then they wonder why. We're there to help. Website, you can get a hold of us at www.kgwebsitedesigns.com. And you can also get a hold of me at kgarcia@kgwebsitedesigns.com. How's that? Simple, easy.
Hey,
like
have you thought about getting the web? Have you thought about getting the web domain KatrinaGarcia.com?
Oh, I already do.
Okay.
I already have KatrinaGarcia.com. I've bought a lot of domains. Like Mr. Craig Deswald, I've got a ton of them.
20,
and I have all pointing to the same thing, so that way I'm found all over the place.
20,
it's really good at
26.
SEO.
Yeah, 26, really and they all point to a back page on timgillette.com. Yeah.
Really good SEO. Just saying.
I wonder where I learned that from.
Don't know.
So, in closing though, Craig and I were at this networking function here in Dallas, and a guy comes up to the table. He says, looks at both me and Craig, and goes, "Is this seat taken?" And Craig and I, like almost in unison, go, "It is now." And I look at each other and I go, "I wonder where I got that from."
Yeah.
And the guy's looking at us, and then I go, "I've been a coaching client of his for years."
Yeah, you can tell.
All right, guys, I'm Tim Gillette. We will actually be back here next Friday with another show, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And those who were faithful through it, if you're just catching us at the end of the show, by all means, go back and watch it. It's going to be a fun experience every week. Help us figure out a name to design it.
Yes.
Any closing thoughts, Katrina?
Just like Tim said, we're here. This is for you guys too, and it's just more for entertainment. We're here to entertain.
We're entertaining ourselves. I'll tell you that.
Entertain. So we're here for you. We're here for you. Questions, whatever. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. You can even call us late for dinner. Just make sure there's dinner there when you call us.
And it's good.
It's good.
No liver and onions. Don't like liver and onions. Nope.
Well, my closing question. All right. Can you make macaroni and cheese, Katrina?
Yes, I can, sir.
Oh, okay.
And mine is homemade. It's not out of a fucking box.
I was married to a girl who couldn't make macaroni and cheese out of a box.
So mine does not come out of a box. It is homemade. Everything I make, for the most part, is homemade.
Cool.
From scratch.
I have to come get some of that because every time I come there, we go to eat someplace at dinner.
Sorry, but I'm a big cook. I love to cook.
I am too, on my huge 6-burner grill in my 2-foot by 2-foot backyard.
Woohoo! So I'm going to be coming out there and trying your barbecue.
You weren't here the last time I did it?
No, I was not, sir. But I will come. Yeah. If you make it, they will come.
I even have my own sauce.
Dreams.
I have my own sauce.
I know. You told me about it. I can't wait to try it. Mm-hmm. I will be there next weekend or next week.
Hey, are you here? Yeah, you're here for Craig's thing too, right?
I am. I am.
Man, wait a minute. When are you flying out here?
I don't fly out until, let's see, I fly in on Sunday. We have the thing on Monday, and then I fly out again on Tuesday.
So we'll be doing next week's show here.
Each other.
All right, guys, we're going to close it up for today. All right, do us a favor. All right, for the time being, go check us out on our websites. We will have a joint place for you guys to get up with and subscribe here in the next 2 weeks. We'll get back to you guys when we have that. But in the meantime, reach out to each one of us through our websites, Tim Gillette and kgdesigns.com. All right, and tell us who you like better. Let's start that.
I'm prettier. I'm just
saying.
She
has more hair than me now.
Tim is definitely more entertaining, but I'm prettier. Let's just say that.
All right. All right, guys. We'll see you next week, man. Have a great week. I can get the buttons to